Just looking for some kitty cat prints to see if there's any evidence the bugaboo made another visit to the catwalk. This dirt would be an immediate giveaway, so I'm guessing he didn't make another foray. Those are thank me laters.
Ooh.
Got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I love it. These are still pretty icy.
Yep.
So it's a good thing we decided to call it early yesterday. We went and had a lunch date, which was really nice. It's good fun to just eat a sandwich with Alyssa, something we never do. I did track down some rebar. A lesson we've learned there I'll just share with you, especially with the bigger rebar. Number 4, our bender cutter will shear it, but the number 5, we can't get it. And so we found a steel and recycling place that carries all kinds of steel. And they can cut this stuff super easy. They've got this crazy chop saw that can just, deal with it. So instead of just buying the stuff, the big stuff, and having them cut that, I had them cut everything that we needed beyond our current supply. So today I still need to cut something like 55 vertical rebars, which sucks. Probably wait a little bit to hand you zonts, right? You're pretty cluttered up there. You've got bracing and rebar. And
for probably 15 minutes.
yeah, so let's wait to put stuff up there so you're not tripping over a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
I think some wire ties would probably be good to tie these together. I absolutely hate these things. They're supposed to make your life easier, and I don't know, I guess it's not bad. I guess I don't hate them that much. That's pretty good. Again, we're adding this rebar in because to beat a code, you should have 2 feet of overlap, and this rebar doesn't have any overlap. In fact, there's like a 6-inch gap. This rebar here only has about an 8-inch overlap, so better safe than sorry.
Liquid of life.
Yeah, I'm trying to drink a lot more
Sustaining life on this project. And then it's time for the zont toss.
All of the
Should we count in Spanish?
We've been putting the zonts at this top line here, but since we're planning on cutting the top of this block to make it level all the way around the building, we're probably going to put it on line, I think Jesse said maybe line 3. That's not too bad. Are you trying to figure out how to get up here? Hey, buddy.
You gotta hold on better, okay? You good? You good? Okay.
Jesse's working away down there. And I have finished attaching all the zonts. Went pretty easy, was pretty straightforward. And now we get to attach the whalers. We're leaving a little space here. We're not making it flush because we're planning on bringing this wall in a little bit to make it plumb. What do we have here? This looks like breakfast to me. What's pretty cool is we have shade in here most of the day, except like noon.
Yeah, it moves around. Right now 2 o'clock is about the worst, from 2 to 5. And then it starts dipping behind the back wall. There's some mercy.
Thanks for breakfast.
Yep. I don't know if you can feel that or not, but the camera you're viewing us on right now is scorching hot. So we're doing really well. We've got the bucks built for the garage door opening in the front, and they're looking pretty stout. But we ran into a problem. We have screws that are too short and too long. So we need to get screws, but we thought we'd take a moment and just do another quick inventory, looking for any last minute purchases to get us through the pour. And it turns out we need a little bit of extra plywood to get the buttress buck done. And then we want to do some just precautionary peace of mind strapping on the back wall. We've got some common seams kind of staggered back there. So we just don't want to have to worry about that. It's high up, it's in the back, it's all this stuff. So if we can just strap some plywood over those areas, the forms will probably hold, but gosh, we just don't want to be those guys. Well, here's hoping we're not those guys. And then we've got a couple other pieces of materials. We want to get what's called a blowout kit. It's basically all thread with some nuts and washers, and a few extra pieces of plywood just to have around in case a block starts to bulge. You can stab all thread through and put some washers and nuts on some plywood to just reinforce the form. So we're gonna run and do a supply run, and then we're gonna get back to work. Our theory is to not leave ourselves too much tomorrow, whatever that means, so that we don't have to put in a 16, 12-hour day the day before the pour. Well, we made it back from supplies, and one of those wind gusts just came up and just blew this block of foam off the top of this. We really got to get concrete in these forms. Alyssa is actually going to get a video published for you guys, and Then she's gonna come help me with vertical rebar. I need to get caught up to her. We need to get all this stuff cut. We gotta get this stuff cut down. And I was gonna try to do that when it was cooler out, but here we are. So I might still do that, I don't know. We really want to get the rebar in before we work on plumbing the walls, and I really would like to get them plumbed today so that tomorrow, maybe at the latest, we can work on trimming the top of the wall. Guess we're working through the heat of the day today.
Cutting rebar for me?
You betcha. Taller ones go on this side of the step
Oh, and shorter ones go on.
Shorter ones go anywhere past the step down.
Sleepy people shouldn't be on top of scaffolding, but I had a chai with coffee in it, like a caffeine-infused chai. So hopefully that'll give me the kick I need to not fall off the scaffolding.
Oh, you got it.
That's perfect.
First shot.
And it's dead even with the top.
Of the top of the wall?
Yeah.
That's bad.
No, not the wall, the rebar.
Oh.
Perfect.
Oh, whew. Don't scare me like that.
Hot
Okay.
diggity dog.
Sweet deal.
Trend is the same. Casey, your idea of putting little PVC collars at the bottom to make putting rebar in easy, golden.
Yeah. One of the most popular questions on Facebook, and honestly, I don't read YouTube comments, so has been, how the heck are you going to close off the garage door openings? Most of the day, I have been working on basically building the fourth side to the forms. A lot of people call these bucks, door bucks, window bucks. The major challenge, in theory, if we pour this correctly, the pump will start pouring mud somewhere down here, and hypothetically it'll actually flow into this corner here. So we won't be dropping mud straight down. That's not the proper way to pump concrete. With a line pump, you can do this stuff. A boom pump, from what we understand, is not so easy. So we'll flow concrete into this corner and then leave it and let it start to go off a little bit. And ideally, I need to figure out when the pump guys get here, we're actually gonna leave all this buck stuff off. We're gonna put the flanges on, but I need to find out if we need to pump this frost wall on the front side first and kind of fill that corner up and then put the buck on. Then we can go up top and fill it in. Either way, this portion of the buck is in case this concrete back here decides to let go and it kind of splooges out. We're gonna strap this over the top of this form. So if it decides to splooge out, it's gonna splooge out to the height of the form. And then by the time it gets out here, it'll just be flowing, hopefully. We shouldn't have any crazy overflow. Then, so this sits flush on the form. We've actually cut the keys off of this portion just for test fitting. These will all get cut off eventually. So then that rests here up against the opening. And then this buck sits down on top of it, which really tightens that corner. You got all this weight pushing down on this. We'll have strapping over the top. We're mounting these fascia plates that are screwed into the studs on the ICF, and then we'll be attaching to this buck through the plywood. And that buck is actually taller than the wall. We don't need all that, but that was an easiest thing to build was a 12-footer using 12-foot 2x4s and an 8-foot sheet of plywood. So then I've drilled out for the rebar. I'll probably put just a squirt of spray foam in each of those openings so we don't get concrete coming up and out. And I oiled the forms on the face so that the concrete side should release fine. So far, all the screws are accessible on the outside, so removing this should be pretty simple, removing this should be simple, and then removing this should be fairly simple. One of the challenges is going to be getting that concrete to fill underneath this form. That's why I think we may have to fill this up first and then put this buck on. Once it's floated, then put this on. But I'll leave these fascia plates installed, so it's a matter of just slipping this over that, sticking this on, and throwing some screws in there. I hate doing things on pour day. God. But that's just sometimes how things have to be done. And we've learned that from some of the stuff we've already worked on. Finally, we're going to run some triangulation here, some bracing. We'll probably brace, I'm thinking at least once here, and maybe even a second time here on each side to the inside of that form. So we'll have a couple of braces there. And then I've got a few 16-foot 2x4s that I'm not using. So I may run an additional brace to the top and run it down to a turnbuckle. Turnbuckle, just maybe if we ever needed to adjust it somehow, which I highly doubt, but give yourself the option. Hopefully, if you pour this in lifts, the amount of force exerted on each phase of the wall is less and less and less, because the concrete underneath it should be supporting the concrete going on top of it-ish. When you pour new mud on top of old mud, you run the risk of getting what's called a cold joint, which is where the two muds do not mix. And that's not the strongest thing, so you don't want to do that if you can. You want to kind of keep the muds flowing together. So you don't want to wait too long between pouring lifts. It's kind of risky. We'll have to just see how Monday goes. But that's the short and skinny of door bucks. We'll be actually building a buck for the buttress also. Got a lot of work left to do. Alyssa's cruising. It's probably going to take her a couple hours to finish that. It's not hard, but just time consuming. Alyssa's on like maybe the second or third to last rebar, and she's like, I don't see any rebar in the footing. And I'm like, what? There's no way that's even humanly possible right now. We're 12 feet up on this ICFs. Turns out it's there. Just long day, and it's hard to see down in there. She's looking in a 12-foot deep dark hole with no sun to help her, so. Whew. One more?
I think you have to cut one more.
Oh, I got too excited too early. I thought I cut the last one. Alyssa says this is the last one. That would be 95 rebar cuts today. Last one! Going in the corner.
It's pretty good at dusk, but not too late in dusk, because then it's too dark.
You need to put a flashlight on the end of your rebar. Uh-oh, we only have 8 minutes left on this camera. All right, one last tell on Jesse. So these bucks that I built, super proud of myself. I realized when I went to put the buck on the west side that the plywood didn't match the lines going up the form. I thought to myself, what in the world? I mean, the plywood's not that crooked. And I realized that we haven't plumbed the walls yet. The wall is actually curving in because of all the weight of the bracing, etc. And we wanted to get all this stuff done and then plumb the walls in preparation for trimming them, etc. So I decided not to put the plywood bucks on this side, or even the plywood fascia. And we're gonna have to take that fascia board back off, because I can see with my eye that this is leaning in, gosh, probably over 2 inches at the top. Right idea, wrong order. So tomorrow morning we get to backtrack. The good news is that one's not on there yet. Are you all done?
Yeah, can I come down?
Yep, come down and punch your time card. Stop by,
Did I get paid for overtime today?
yeah, stop by HR. We'll give you a cookie and a package of Skittles for a job well done.
Did I earn 0.32 hours of time off today?
I was gonna say, but you actually earned 0.2 hours of
dang it.
paid vacation today. It's called PTO. We abbreviate it out of respect for our workers' time. You can
In a
use,
month, I could take a day off.
well, she can only use it when we say, because we're the
Yep.
company. So it's her paid vacation, and she can use it. We just get to say when. Good job. She's got mud on her face. This girl's a hard worker.
This is my rebar guide.
yeah.
I'd like put it against my cheek and guide it in.
Good stuff.
Pretty tired.
Good work today, man.
You too, man.
She crawled out of bed with this old fart today, too. So we're wrapping
So-
this sucker up.
Can we get it all done tomorrow before the pour in?
I'm
36
actually
hours.
going to ask for help, because there's a lot of just general stuff. We've been talking to Lightform this evening. We planned on having a call with them tomorrow, like a FaceTime, to kind of walk them around the pour and have them just kind of look for things that could be problems and look over stuff, etc. And they've been keeping up with the videos that we've been publishing, so they've already spotted a few things that we need to do. Thankfully, we can get materials
Yep.
and stuff to reinforce and strengthen. We will get it done tomorrow. Monday's pour day.
Yep.
That's not
Whether
optional.
we're ready or not.
The concrete people call and they're like, hello. You're like, hello. And they're like, ready or not, here we come. Wouldn't that be funny?
Totally.
They should do that. I
do
mean, that's
that.
how concrete works.
Yep.
Okay, this camera has got to be out of time.
Yep.
See you guys. Mañana.
Are you that dirty?
When did you become a diesel mechanic?
I don't even know how that happened.
Kind of looked like my dad. My dad used to come in for dinner, and I'm like, what in the world have you been doing? He's like, just changing the oil on the motorhome.
Yep.
You know?
I get it. I get it.
Rebar is filthy.
It is filthy.
I don't even want to know how dirty. Well, look at me.
These are our clean clothes.
This shirt was clean this morning.
Yeah.
My mom used to say, go put on a clean shirt. And my dad would say,
This is my
clean shirt.
That's so true.
I totally can understand now, Dad. I'm with you. I didn't understand it then, but I'm 110% on board now.